This forest has no name on the new maps. On satellite images, it's just a dark green blemish, a data error between gray scars of clear-cut land and industrial farms. But on the old ranger map, there is a red circle around it and a handwritten note in the margin: "Do not enter." I enter at almost dusk. The rain is a fine mist, not falling from clouds, but rising from the ground itself, from a dampness that has never dried. My radio crackles, then goes completely silent as I step past the first line of trees. I'm a rescue worker, on paper at least. The mission: find a missing hiking group that vanished 3 days ago. In my head, I know I'm too late. In my chest, there's still a thin ember of hope, damp but stubborn. The forest swallows sound. No cars, no planes, just endless dripping and the hush of leaves rubbing together like someone whispering very close. Each step sinks into a mattress of rot up to my ankles. Something beneath my feet is breathing. At first I think it's exhaustion. Then I hear it clearly. A deep, steady drumbeat rising from the soil, not as fast as a human heartbeat, slower, deeper, like the heart of some enormous animal sleeping beneath the trees. I call on the radio. Only static answers. I try the GPS. The screen jitters, spinning like a compass in a magnet storm. I laugh once, dry and small, in the dark of the trees. Fine. Alone it is. When I find the first one, I know I'm far beyond my training. He hangs 2 meters above the ground, wrapped in thin white fungal ribbons around his legs and chest, like someone used giant spider silk to tie him to the branch. His eyes are open, but there are no flies, no smell of rot. Instead, from the corners of his eyes and mouth, tiny mushrooms sprout, pale caps trembling in time with the drumbeat in the soil. I want to vomit. I want to cut him down, to lower him gently, but when my hand touches the fungal cords, a white dust exhales straight into my face. I cough violently. Each spasm feels like it rips my chest apart. The dust pours into my nose, my mouth, my throat. I try to pull my mask up, but it's too late. My lungs catch fire, not heat, but a kind of cold burn, like inhaling an entire winter at once. My vision blurs. The whole forest tilts sideways. I collapse into the mulch, fingers digging into slick roots. The drum in the ground grows louder, more insistent. It isn't the earth beating, it's my lungs, my blood, something waking up inside me. Killed by fungus, I think dimly. That's one way to go. Then the darkness closes in, not from the sky, but from inside my skull. I don't know how long I'm out. In this forest, time is the first thing that gets eaten. When consciousness returns, I think I'm dead. No crushing weight on my chest, no frantic hunger for air. Instead, a different kind of breathing. I open my eyes. The world is flooded with dim green light, as if I'm seeing through a layer of leaves. Thin luminous strands hang in the air around me, weaving into a mist. They move in and out of my chest with each steady breath. I'm no longer inhaling air, I'm inhaling spores. When I try to sit up, the ground beneath my back swells and rises in pale rootlets, lifting me gently. The forest is touching me, cradling me. Then I see her. She doesn't walk towards me, she grows. From the trunk of an ancient tree a few meters away, the bark splits and twists aside to let a human shape be woven out of roots, mushrooms, and vines. Her skin is a smooth fungal tissue, dusted with faint green glows of symbiotic algae. Her hair is a cascade of dangling mushrooms, each cap glowing softly like a trapped star. Her eyes are 2 dark hollows, yet inside them, tiny hyphae spiral together into twin golden lights that stare straight into me. No iris, no sclera, just an unblinking gaze. I know I should panic, scream, crawl away, but my body no longer takes orders. My muscles feel spongy, softened, as if they already belong to another rhythm. She bends down. She doesn't touch my skin. She only brings her face close. From her chest, a dense cloud of spores rises, coils, then rushes into my mouth and nose like a reversed kiss. It is not a kiss, it is an invasion. Something cold and alive slides down my throat, burrowing into my lungs, anchoring in each tiny alveolus. I want to gag, to cough, but my body only shudders and then relaxes as if it has decided to surrender. The pain vanishes. The strangling sensation vanishes. What remains is an icy clarity. I can breathe. I can breathe spores, moisture, the rot-sweet air of the entire forest. She leans even closer, close enough for me to see each microscopic thread in her skin. There is no perfume, no human sweat. Only the smell of wet soil, dead wood, the scent of first rain on a young planet. Her voice blooms inside my skull. Not sound, pressure. A low, slow song threading into my bones, into my marrow. You have been chosen. The sky is no longer your ceiling. The network has claimed you. Each word isn't letters but images, roots, underground rivers, rings on a tree's cross-section. Before I can react, the ground cracks open beneath me. Not like a sinkhole, like a mouth. Pale roots wrap around me, pulling me down into the dark. She slides with me, light as a cloud of spores on the wind. We don't fall. We drift down. The darkness beneath the forest isn't entirely black. It sparkles. Bands of glowing fungi cling to the earthen walls, forming green veins running downward like buried stars. I'm carried through corridors of interwoven roots, past fungal chambers whose caps are as wide as rooms, past black pools coated with spore films thin as skin. Somewhere, another human body is fused to a trunk, ribcage peeled open like a flower, its interior brimming with quivering fungal flesh. I look away. At last, we reach a vast hollow underground, a natural cavern, or perhaps the ancient den of some bigger thing. From the ceiling, bunches of roots and fungal cords hang like chandeliers. In the center rises a knot tree, a colossal fungal pillar, its swollen stem pulsing in time with the drumbeat I heard above.
This is its heart.
The heart, she says in my mind, mine, the forest's, this world's. Around the heart are other beings. They were human once, faces eroded, covered in moss and lichen, arms turned to roots, chests split open to reveal clusters of hyphae pulsing with the shared rhythm. They kneel or hang or simply fuse with the cavern walls, and every clouded eye turns toward me. I understand. I am not a guest. I am an offering. She sets me on the floor, a ring of roots immediately clasping my wrists, ankles, hips, holding me firm without hurting. For the first time since collapsing above, I try to speak. What comes out is a hoarse gurgling sound, like water running through a pipe. She understands anyway. My clumsy question hangs in the space between us. Why? She moves closer. From her shoulders, dark, slender tendrils extend, tasting the air, then brushing lightly across my cheek, my forehead. Your kind, she says, loud, brief, chaotic, a mad spark on the skin of a cooling world. My kind. She looks up toward the cavern roof as if seeing through soil and stone to the hidden stars. We were not born here. We drifted here on a burnt stone carrying a forest folded into spores. We have eaten dying worlds. We have given them breath again. Images flood my mind. Cracked planets greening in a single fungal rainy season. Dead seas filling with glowing moss forests. Stone cities of other species pierced by roots and slowly becoming temples of lichen. But we have lived too long, she continues. We have stabilized. No more change, no more dreaming. We are an old forest standing still, waiting for lightning. Then you came. The visions shift to wildfires, chainsaws, bare earth, asphalt, smoke, red burns spreading over satellite maps. You are not only enemies, she says, you are a fever. but also what we lost: the power to break, to rebuild, to become something else, the power to be mad. She lowers herself, golden eyes inches from mine. I am the last of my line on this world. I am the last intact forest. I need your fire, your chaos, your mind. The tendrils from her shoulders lengthen, forming a dark crown around my head. They slip through my hair, my scalp, needles of cold. I want to scream, but the spores in my throat swallow the sound. I wake in a nest, not a cell, not a home. It's a hollow inside an enormous trunk, its walls padded with soft fungal tissue, warm like a second skin. The floor is dry, clean mulch, free of the stench of corpses. Green light filters through cracks like lamp glow through curtains. They, the beings that used to be people, bring me food, clear jelly and mushroom shells, crisp root shards like crackers, a salty sap that tastes like tears. I refuse, several times, until hunger becomes a black hole in my gut, swallowing my will. I eat, I live, I wait, and while I wait, I begin to change. One day, I notice the skin on my hands has paled, almost translucent. Under the greenish light, I see fine white strands running along my veins, fungal threads braided into my blood. A few cycles later, I realize I can see clearly in complete darkness. There is no period of adjustment. I blink, and everything appears as networks of pale light in the soil, in wood, in the bodies around me. Hair on my arms and chest falls away, leaving smooth, damp skin, speckled in places with faint bioluminescent streaks like the glow on an old watch face. When I press my ear to the mulch, I hear the whispers of roots. Not words, but feelings. Hunger, fullness, pain, relief, quiet joy when a new branch sprouts somewhere far away. She does not visit me, not directly. But sometimes, at what might be night in this buried world, I hear her song. The same melody that dragged me down, now turned into a lullaby, a cold reminder of my purpose. I no longer remember my mother's face. I can't recall my old house. But I remember every vein in the leaf pattern of the ceiling, every crack in the inner bark, every beat of the distant fungal heart. Time is no longer day and night. Time is cycles of damp and dry, sprouting and withering, sporing and stillness. One day, the guards come. They don't drag me. They simply stand there, the fungal layer on their faces trembling, their cloudy eyes lowered, reverent, no longer threatening. I stand. My new body moves through the seeped underground water as easily as I once walked on solid ground. Knees light, lungs full of spores as if full of air. They lead me back to the heart cavern. This time, it isn't just the altered. A whole forest court is assembled. Clusters of giant mushrooms risen like thrones, ancient stumps pierced by new roots, small animals, mice, birds, foxes, standing still, eyes glowing, all turned toward the center. She waits for me there. No extra jewelry of moss or lichen. She is bare in her fungal form, beautiful in an alien way, perfect, smooth, nothing extra, nothing missing. The body is ready, she says. The vessel is complete. It is time to sow. I don't ask sow what. I already understand, or I think I do. In my mind, I see an army of half-human, half-fungal monsters swarming up to the surface, devouring whatever is left. She comes close, placing both hands, soft, cool, pulseless, on either side of my head. The glowing streaks on her skin flare, racing along invisible patterns. My people cannot fight anymore, she whispers inside me. We are too heavy, too tied to soil, too rooted. When fire comes, we can only burn. I do not need soldiers, I need seeds. The visions flip to fires I've never seen. Not human-made wildfires, but solar storms scouring the atmosphere, white streaks across magnetosphere charts, oceans boiling away. This world is at the end of its season, she says. Not because of you. You are only the fever warning it. This soil is tired. This sky is thin. When the silence comes, it will not just fell trees. It will switch everything off. I recall the silence from her earlier visions, a force that doesn't destroy matter, but quietly shuts down every reaction, every exchange, every possibility of life. We cannot flee again, she admits. We have hidden long enough. Now it is another species' turn. She presses her forehead to mine. Once more, I feel myself opening. But this time, not to have my memories taken, but to mix them into something new. I have extracted your humanity, she murmurs. Your stubbornness, your cruelty, your ability to love and destroy in the same breath. I have woven these into my spores. I look around and see, from the great fungal heart in the cavern's center, fruiting bodies are emerging, swelling, trembling. Each is a taut sac, inside which pale light swirls like a tiny storm. Inside them, she says, are your children. Not half-fungus monsters, not soldiers. The seeds of another humanity, more flexible, more tolerant of silence, yet still noisy in thought, still dreaming, still wanting more than the world allows. I peer into a trembling sack. There are no limbs, no faces. I see only patterns of neurons firing, lighting up and going dark, like brain scans shrunk to fit in a cupped hand. When the silence comes and sweeps through roots, leaves, and bone, she continues, I will use my last breath to hurl them upward, into the high winds, into comet tails, onto the shards of your own broken machines drifting in space. Somewhere on another world, when conditions allow, they will dissolve and sprout. They will carry the memories of me, of you, of this whole forest. They will argue, build, love, kill, and perhaps destroy their new world in turn. That is your nature, and that is why I chose you. I understand. She isn't raising an army to defend her kingdom. She's building a Noah's Ark out of spores and memories, sending humanity away from here, away from this planet's final winter. Your sacrifice has given your species one more chance, she says. Now your work begins. You are no longer a prisoner. You are a caretaker, a father. Tend them, teach them, prepare them to know what it means for a world to be killable, and why it is still worth loving. Around us, the first sacks begin to split. Not with a dry crack, but with a sigh. From within, no bodies crawl out. Only a heavy mist flows, smelling of milk and wet soil. It drifts toward me, wrapping around my arms, my chest, my head.
The network has claimed.
Inside it, I hear infant wails, laughter, the question, why? Repeated and overlapping like a choir that hasn't yet learned to sing. I drop to my knees, not from pain, from the weight of possibilities. In the eyes of the universe, in the quiet war between life and shutdown, there is no monster more beautiful and terrible than a spore of hope. It is small, light, but travels farther than any scream. And I am their father.